Uh, it is يعني because I manage with other subject, not only English.
يا مس يعني نحن عنا الخميس.
English ولا English.
Okay, yes, yeah, miss. We have we have Thursday, which is today. We come when we finish. We will be so tired. وخلاص we don't.
Study on
we not have.
Saturday.
Yeah, but only one day for 3 subjects.
I thought that Sunday is better for you. By the way, يعني I insisted to choose Sunday. I thought that it
Yes,
will be
miss. يعني it's better,
after
but
a
when it
weekend.
will be an easy subject and there's nothing يعني إنه not a lot of information.
If it's on Monday, on Sunday you'd have a normal school day. So I thought that it's better for you. Next time I'll change the day, but I've already set it. يعني Saturdays I cannot change it. I'm sorry.
Okay.
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 You are only 20. Okay. Let's see other quizzes. Okay, so girls, today we'll take the literature, the War of the Worlds. So let's open it, please. Page 224 in your literature book. 224, 224. And I'll share. Do you remember what we said previous time? The War of the Words that has been.
New chapter.
Yes, Serena?
We started a new chapter about the world.
Yes, War of the Words. Here is it. Today we take the first three. Previous time we took the introduction, the making connection. I'll share the PowerPoint. Here is it. Can you see it, girls?
Yes.
Okay. Lesson support for chapter 11, first read, the War of the Worlds. While we read, we will see the reading vocabulary, okay? With me, 224.
Yes.
I can show you the excerpt, girls. Yani I can show you the excerpt on the screen. Do you prefer to see the script or the vocabulary?
The script.
The excerpt itself? Okay. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'll show it to you. It is only downloading. You can hear it as well, girls. But I prefer that you read, so we be active together. Do you see the side, girls?
Yes, but it's loading.
Oh, it takes time. This is the. Here is it, and we can hear it. But I didn't share the voice. I'll reshare.
No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly and closely by intelligences greater than man's, and yet as mortal as his own. That as men busied themselves about their various concerns, they were scrutinized and studied.
So slow.
almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might
that.
scrutinize the transient creatures
don't-
that swarm and multiply in a drop of
I don't
water.
feel well with this.
With
reading.
infinite
Do you feel it?
complacency, men went to and fro over
You can
this
read it
globe
alone.
about their little
Honestly, girls, yes. Again, do you
affairs,
prefer that?
serene in their assurance of their empire over matter.
We can read it alone.
It is
أحسن.
possible.
It's
Huh?
better. It's better to read it alone.
Yes, right? I prefer that too. So, let me see who's here. Okay. Ahad is not here. Arwa is not here. Batul? He is not here. Batul? Dima?
Yes, teacher, I'm here.
Read Dima, please, if you want to read from the
Can you
slide.
repeat which page?
224.
Okay.
The War of the Worlds. No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly and closely by intelligences greater than man's and yet as mortal as his own. That as men poised themselves
Dima,
but
read from the beginning, dear, from your book from the beginning, from the War of the Words written in.
okay.
Because it's not, is it written here? Oh, here is it written here. Yes. Dima?
Yes, teacher, I'm opening the page.
Here is it, it's on the slide.
The War of the Worlds, written in 1898 by H.G. Wells, is an early science fiction novel and one of the first stories about a conflict about the people of Earth and an extraterrestrial race. The book, which describes the Martian invasion of England, was extremely popular when it premiered as a serialized story in a British magazine.
Serialized, yes.
Serialized story in a British magazine. It has spawned numerous adaptations, including comic books and movies.
Okay, as we discussed previous time. So, what we are going to do here, read from here in chapter 1 of the War of the Words.
The War of the Words by H.G. Wells, the book's unnamed narrator, reflects back on the incidents he is about to describe in the book. He offers some commentary on the Martians' motivations for invasion.
Yes, so the objective of first read, we will do what?
As you read chapter 1, highlight the narrator's viewpoint of the Martians and label it with an M. Also, highlight the narrator's opinion of humans and label this section with an H.
So while we read, we will underline the Martians and we write M, and we underline the human and we write H. Okay? Okay? Okay. And let's see. Thank you, Dima. Huda?
Yes, Miss.
Read, Huda.
The War of the Worlds.
Please, girls, focus with me when you in the passage or in the paragraph to know which part is the Martian, which part is the human.
Okay. By H.G. Wells, 1898, Book 1, Chapter 1. No one would have believed in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly and closely by intelligences greater than man's and yet as mortal as his own. That
So
as men.
Here, he says that no one would believe in the last years of the 19th century that this world was being watched keenly. The world was being watched and keenly and closely by intelligences greater than man's and yet as mortal as his own. So here he talks about whom?
People that are watching men. Women are
human
people,
or Martians?
Martians.
Martians. Okay. Continue.
That as men busied themselves busied themselves about their various concerns. They were scrutinized and studied, perhaps
Yes, they were
almost
scrutinized and studied. Scrutinized and studied by whom?
by them by those شو كان اسمه؟
By the Martians. So it is also
Martian.
M, write M also here. So scrutinize and studies, write M also. Okay, thank you, Huda. Judy? Is Judy here?
Miss, why did we write
Because Martians. M for Martians.
Miss, can I read?
I take one by turn, Maya. Okay, after a while I'll ask you to read. Dear. Judy?
Yes. From perhaps?
Yes.
Perhaps almost as gnarly as a man with a microscope might
Wait a minute.
scrutinize.
I'd like to cancel this one so we can read. Yes, we started start here. Yes. Perhaps.
Yes.
Yes.
Perhaps almost as gnarly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize transient creatures.
Transient.
Creatures
And
that, yes.
we stop here. Wait a minute. Perhaps almost as narrowly as a man with a microscope might scrutinize the transient creature. So here, the first word for today, transient. Read it, Judy.
Lasting only for a short time, impermanent.
Yes, impermanent. It doesn't last forever. Okay?
Okay.
Continue, Judy. The transient creature.
Yes. Creatures that swarm and multiply in a drop of water. With infinite complacency, men went and fro over this globe about their little affairs, serene in their assurance of their empire over matter.
Yes, so here, from with infinite, okay? Complacency, men went to and fro like this over this globe about their little affairs, serene in their assurance of their empire over matter. Here, he mentions whom? Yeah, Judy, Martians or human? Judy, here he talks about Martians or human?
Martians.
Men over their globe about their little affairs, serene in their assurance. Men or Marsh or human?
The human?
Human, يا جودي. Excellent. Excellent. Okay, from it's possible.
I complete?
Yeah.
It is possible that the infusoria under the microscope do the same.
Infusoria. Yes, please, girls, when you find a word that you do not know its meaning, ask me and write its meaning next to the book here. Infusoria. Infusoria is microscopic life forms that live in all aquariums. Infusoria. Infusoria, microscopic life. Thank you, Judy. Thank you, Hamid. Okay. Layal.
Yes. Yes.
Layal, you're here. I can't believe you reply me. Where have you been, ya Layal?
Yeah, teacher.
Ya Layal, you
teacher,
didn't reply me. يعني in 2 weeks.
No, teacher, I always reply, but you can't hear me. I don't know why.
Oh, Layal. Okay. So we stopped at it's possible. Here, from here, read, please. Wait a minute.
It is possible that the
Oh,
It is possible that the infusoria under the microscope do the same. No one gave a thought to the older words of space as sources of a human danger, or thought them only to dismiss the idea of life upon them.
okay. So no one gave a thought to the older word. No one gave a thought here, يا ليال, no one gave a thought to the older words of space as sources of human danger, or thought of them only to dismiss the idea of life upon themselves. Okay?
Yeah.
As impossible or improbable. So here he talks about whom? Human or Martians, Ilya?
Martian?
No one gave a thought. No one gave a thought. No one of whom? The Martians or the human? No one gave a human. Yes, no one gave a thought to be to the ordered words of space as sources of human danger. They haven't never thought that the space will bring danger to them. Okay?
Yes.
Or thought of them only to dismiss the idea of life upon them as impossible. Okay, continue reading.
It is curious to recall some of the mental habits of those departed days.
Yes, thank you, of those departed days. Thank you, dear. We see Leah. 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 Yes, Leah, read Leah. At most. Okay, from at most. Here. Yes, here.
At most, terrestrial man.
Terrestrial
man thinks there might be other men upon Mars, perhaps
inferior
to themselves, ready to welcome a missionary enterprise.
So here let's see whom he talks about. Let's see. Okay, at some terrestrial men fancied, imagine, there might be other men upon Mars, perhaps inferior to themselves and ready to welcome a missionary enterprise. Here he talks about whom? Who at most terrestrial men, يعني at most, he said, okay, from men fancied there might be other men upon Mars. Here he talks about human or Martians?
Humans that they think and they imagine.
Wait يا هدى حبيبتي, Leah is answering.
I thought جميعية.
Leah, here he talks about whom? Men, human or Martians?
Human.
Human, yes. Okay, continue reading from yet. Wait a minute, what did it? I hate it when this disappears. From human. From yet? Read from yet.
Yet, across the gulf of space, minds that are to our minds as ours to those of the beasts, that bears intellect vast and cool and unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes, and slowly and surely drew their plans against us.
So here he says, yet, across the gulf of space, minds that are our minds as ours are to those of the beasts that perish, intellects vast and cool, unsympathetic, regarded this earth with envious eyes, and slowly and surely drew their plans against us. Here he talks about whom? The men on earth, or from Martians from Mars? Who? Martians, they watch the world with their envious eyes. They want to draw the past four drew their plans against us, the Martians. Okay, thank you, Leah. Lين الحاج.
Yes, teacher.
Yes, read, dear.
Yet
I will,
Sylvain
before
is
you
man.
read, yet Suven is man. Here, he talks about human or Martians.
Martian.
Yet Suven is man. Man is Svein.
Okay. Sorry. Human.
Human. Humans, right edge. Okay? Continue.
And so blinded by his vanity that no writer, up to the very end of the 19th century, expressed any idea that intelligent life might have developed therefore, or indeed at all, beyond its earthly level, nor was it generally understood that since Mars is older than our Earth, with scarcely a quarter of this,
Scarcely, يعني, which means rarely.
a quarter of the superficial area and remoter from the sun, it necessarily follows that it is not only more distant from time beginning, but nearer its end.
So here he talks about whom, Yelene? Blinded by his vanity, that no writer up to very end of the 19th century expressed any idea that intelligent life might have developed there far or indeed beyond its earthly level. So they have never thought there is another life. So on all of this he talks about what? Beyond its earthly level, earthly referring to earth. He talks about human or Martians?
Human.
Human. Thank you, Lynn. Lynn Matter. Lynn Matter.
But what is the meaning of vain and vanity?
Vain. You said it at the beginning of the class. You said that we study in vain, right? Or no?
No.
Vain means nothing. Vain, wasted, wasting. I'll give you a
Miss, is
meaning.
it this that it is in the skin, in the body?
No, like null and vain. Vain, null and vain is
Without a purpose.
يعني with no result. With no result. Wait, I'm going to give you vain.
Done, yeah, miss.
Yes, dear. Unsuccessful. Yes,
done?
without any results. Yes, dear.
I'm saying
Okay.
it's done in Arabic.
What? Again? Yes, dear. Yes, Linda, again?
Miss, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Say again.
I'm saying it means hudan in Arabic.
I don't know. No, no, with باء. يعني هاء باء ألف. So it will be what? Yes,
لا,
this
the
way.
Arabic word is عبث يعني بدون هيك
Yes,
بس.
yes, null and vain. Null and vain. When we say that we studied, okay, or we did anything and it was null and vain, it is no need, no result. Okay. But vanity, because vain can also mean arrogancy. So when you say man's vanity, it is his arrogancy.
Okay.
So so when he said yet so vain is man, he wants to say that man is vain. Here he with his arrogance, he didn't thought, or he didn't think. I'm sorry, he didn't think that there is more intelligence, or intelligences are watching him from Mars. Okay. Where have we stopped? Where did we stop? where لين المطر
beyond
here
its
secular
surface.
cooling the secular the secular cooling. Yes, لين مطر, are you here?
Can you hear me?
Yes, dear.
Yes, okay. I read.
Yes, dear.
The secular cooling that must someday overtake our planet has already gone far and needed with our neighbors. Its physical condition is still largely a mystery, but we know now that even in our equatorial region,
In
the
its, yes, equatorial region,
the midday temperature barely approaches that of our coldest winter. Its air is much more
attenuated than others. Here, girls, he talks about what? يعني he talks lean. He talks about marsh, not the Martians or human. He talks about living in marsh or living on Earth. When he says the secular cooling that must someday overtake our planet has already gone far indeed with our neighbors. Its physical condition is still largely a mystery. But we know now that even Lean, he talks about which planet?
Which planet?
Mars or Earth?
Mars.
Mars, yes, dear, Mars. Attenuated, read the meaning of attenuated, Yeleen. It's in front of you in the slideshow. Did I share it?
Yes.
Yes.
Unnaturally thin. Unnaturally thin.
Can you hear me?
Yes, Lean. Yes, Habit, yes.
You're not sharing the screen.
Yes, I shared it again, dear. I shared it again. So read from here. Its air is much.
Its air is much
attenuated. Attenuated means thin. Thin. Yes. So here he talks about Mars. He describes Mars. Its oceans.
Its oceans have shrunk until they cover but a third of its surface. And as its low seasons change, huge snow caps gather and melt about either pole and periodically
inundates its temperature. Okay, thank you, Lean. Thank you, حبيبتي. Thank you, Lean. We go. Linda?
Yes.
Linda, please reread it because Lean's net has... yes, Lean, I can see you raise your hand. Thank you.
It's so lagging. I don't know what's happening.
It is okay, dear. It's okay. Maybe your internet. Tell me, where is Ahd? Is everything is okay?
No, teacher, Ahd is so sick.
She's sick. But alhamdulillah, inshallah she'll get better. But at least she's safe. Okay.
No, miss, she's still in Turkey.
Oh, okay. Okay, I just want to get sure that she's okay. Linda, we start from its air because Lean's voice lagged. Its air.
Its air is much more attenuated than ours. Its oceans have shrunk until they cover but a third of its surface, and its low seasons change. Huge snow caps gather and melt about either pole and periodically inundate its temperate zones. The last stage of exhaustion, which to us is still incredibly remote, has become a present-day problem for the inhabitants of Mars. The immediate pressure of necessity has brightened their intellects and enlarged their powers and
hardened their hearts. So because the immediate pressure of necessity there at Mars has brightened their intellects, enlarged their powers, hardened their hearts. Okay, hardened their hearts. Yes.
And looking across space with instruments and intelligence such as we have Scarcely
Scarcely,
dreamed of.
scarcely, rarely.
Oh, dreamed of, they see, and at its
They see,
nearest
okay.
distance,
So here, we stop here, yeah, Linda. So here, Linda, he talks about whom? The here, Martians or human?
Martians.
Martians. He talks here about the Martians, that the pressure of necessity made them stronger, more powerful, hardened their hearts. Thank you, Linda. Lujain?
Do I start from the beginning of the sentence and looking?
Yes, dear. We start from here. They see as its nearest distance.
They see at its nearest distance only 35 million of miles sunward of them, a morning star of hope, our own warmer planet, green with vegetation and grey with water, with a cloudy atmosphere eloquent of fertility, with glimpses through its drifting cloud wisps of broad stretches of populous country and narrow navy-crowded seas.
So there they are at their planet, with all these conditions that we've just said that harden their hearts and enlarge this power. The oceans have shrunk, because here he says to you, what happened in Mars? What happens in Mars here? Here, its physical condition is still a mystery, but we know that even its equatorial region, the midday temperature barely approached that of our coldest winter. When the Earth is in its coldest winter, they are in the midday. It means it's too cold, and its air is much more attenuated, thinner than ours. Its oceans have shrunk until they cover only third, so there is no enough water. And as its slow seasons they change, there is no change in the seasons like we have 4 seasons. Okay, so the huge snow caps gather and melt about either pole of Mars, and periodically inundate its temperate zones. Inundate its temperate zones. So for the temperature. So the last stage of exhaustion for Mars, which is to us is still incredibly remote, has become a present-day problem for the inhabitants of Mars. The worst day of Earth, which is so far, is their normal day. So the immediate pressure of necessity made them to think of going to the Earth. They watch our planet as a morning star of hope. Morning star of hope here is what? The Earth, our own warmer planet, Earth. Morning star of hope is our own warmer planet. Green with the vegetation, there is vegetables, and gray with water, with a cloudy atmosphere, eloquent of fertility, there is a fertile land, with glimpses through a drifting cloud. So here he modifies what, there he modified what, and here he modifies what, there he modified what. Who's reading? Lujain? Lujain reading, or yes, Lujain.
In the beginning, he modified the Mars, the planet.
Mars, yes, he modifies Mars. Here he modifies.
Yeah, towards the end, he's modifying the Earth.
Excellent, dear. Thank you, Lejain. Thank you. Malak Al-Haj is absent today with excuse. Malika?
Yes, Miss.
Yes, dear. And women.
And
before we start, here he talks about human or Martian?
Human.
Human.
And we mean the creatures who inhabit this earth must be to them at least as alien and lowly as the monkeys and lemurs to us. The intellectual side of men already admits that life is incessant struggle for existence, and it would seem that it is too is the belief of minds upon Mars. Their world is far gone in its cooling, and this world is still crowded with life, but crowded only with what they regard as inferior animals. To carry warfare sunward is indeed
Their only escape from the destruction that generation after generation creep upon them.
Yes, can you tell me, Malika, what does he want to say here? And women, huh? Read it and explain for me. As I say, and you read each sentence and explain it.
Okay. And women and creatures who inhabit immediately to the that men are powerless in face of the aliens.
Yes, excellent. We are powerless in front of them. They look at them, we are to them as monkeys to us. Yeah, they look at them as we are monkeys because they are more intelligent than we are. The intellectual side of man already admits that life is an incessant struggle for existence. We want to survive. Human on earth, we want to survive. So they look at us as we look at monkeys. And it would seem that this is too is the belief of the minds upon Mars. Okay? The world is far gone in its cooling, and this world is still crowded with life. Their world is cooling, and our world is still crowded with life, but crowded only with what they regard as inferior animals. They look at us as what, girls?
Inferior animals.
Inferior animals. Okay? So their only escape from the destruction that generation after generation creeps upon them. Okay, thank you, Malika. Marine Muhammad?
Yes, miss.
Yes. And before?
And before we judge them, of them too harshly, we must remember that ruthless and utter destruction our own species has wrought, not only upon animals, such as vanished bison and dodo, but upon its inferior races. The Tasmanians, in spite of their human likeness, were entirely swept out of existence in a war of extermination waged by European immigrants in the space of 50 years. Are we such apostles of mercy as to complain if the Martians warned in the same spirit?
Okay, so Marine, can you explain for me what happens here?
Yes, he's talking about how we can judge them for thinking that like they're gonna destroy us, you know?
Yes.
So
Before
because
we
we
judge
destroyed
them,
other things.
we judge them too harshly that they want to destruct us, they destroy us. We must remember what ruthless and utter destruction our own species has wrought. We,
Yes.
our own selves on Earth, we destroy Earth. Not only upon animals such as the vanished bison and the dodo, but these are like we can say instinct. It's called what, the animals that do not exist anymore.
Extinct.
Extinct. Yes, extinct animals. But upon its inferior races, we human, we look, okay, to others as inferior. Yes, looks. The Tasmanians, who are the Tasmanians? Read it, Yamaya, because I promised you to read, but the excerpt has finished.
Yes,
Tasmanians.
people indigenous to the island of Tasmania between 1803 and 1835. Tasmanians were wiped out by white settlers by disease, systematic attacks, and resettlement to concentration camps.
Those Tasmanians, they were people who lived in Tasmania. What happened to them? The whites wiped them, like wiping, vanishing them. So we, the human of Earth, we kill each other. So why we wonder that they want to kill us? So in spite of their human likeness, Tasmanians were as human as us, not as Martians. They were entirely swept out of existence in a war of extermination. Extermination?
But we are always in a defense mode.
Dear?
We are always in a defense mode.
Yes. So Tasmanians, yani he wants to say here that why we wonder and we judge the Martian want to kill us and we kill each other. The Tasmanians were swept out of existence by European immigrants. When European immigrated, they whipped them out of their place. In the space of 50 years, are we such apostles of mercy as to complain if the Martian were in the same spirit? So we blame the Martians, but we do the same? You understand? You get what does he want to say, girls?
Yes.
Yes.
In the second read, we will take another excerpt. In the third read, we'll take another excerpt. We will take more than one excerpt this chapter. That's why he just gave you this small part. Okay, I'll share the PowerPoint to continue discussing. Yes, dear.
Shall we go to the next room?
Yeah. Now we
Yes, 9:30.
We finished 9:25.
No, we finished 9:25. Now it's 9:30.
Okay, so I'll give you 5 minutes and we meet 9:35.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
Bye, guys. Don't be late.